Come take a journey with us through Latin America. Our first stop is Ecuador. Ecuador got its name from the equator that runs through the country. Its largest export is yummy bananas. And here's a fun fact. Ecuador is the only country in the world that is named after a geographical feature. Let's drive north to our next stop, Colombia. Colombia is named from the last name of the explorer Christopher Columbus. Colombia's largest export is crude petroleum and coal briquettes. And here's a fun fact. The two most well-known Colombian musicians are Shakira and Juanes. Now let's head northeast to Venezuela. What do Venezuela and Italy have in common? Stilt houses. They reminded the Italian navigator Amerigo Vespucci of Venice, Italy. The Spanish version of Venice is Venezuela. Venezuela's largest export is mineral fuels, including oil. And here is a fun fact. The national dance of Venezuela is the joropo. How exciting. Now we're going to drive aboard a ferry and sail over to Puerto Rico, which is Spanish for rich port. Puerto Rico's largest exports are pharmaceuticals and medical equipment. Puerto Rico our next stop is the neighboring Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic is an island country named by Saint Dominic, founder of the Order of Dominicans. República Dominicana's largest exports are gems and precious metals. Here's a fun fact. The capital, Santo Domingo, is the oldest European settlement in the Americas. Lots of history and lots of rich cultural diversity. Now let's drive over to the next country, Haiti. The name Haiti comes from the indigenous language Taino. Haiti was the native name given to the entire island of Hispaniola and means land of high mountains. Haiti's largest export is crocheted or knit clothing. And here is a great fun fact. Although we hope that you don't have to go while you are visiting, Haiti has the world's largest solar-powered hospital. And lastly, we finish this week's trip in Cuba. Although the exact meaning of Cuba's name is unclear, it may be translated either as where fertile land is abundant, Cubao, or great place, Coabana. Cuba's largest export is tobacco and sugar. And for a fun fact, from the air, the island of Cuba resembles a crocodile or an alligator. But you won't find many alligators or crocodiles wandering about, so don't worry. Our first stop is in Mexico. The country of Mexico was named after its capital city, Mexico City. It's thought the word originates from putting together the words Metzli and Cicli, which means moon. Mexico's largest export is electrical machinery and equipment. And for a fun fact, Mexico is home to the world's smallest volcano. Quexcomate is a cute 43 feet tall. Now let's head south to Guatemala. The name Guatemala comes from the Nahuatl word Guatemalan, which means place of many trees. Guatemala's largest exports are bananas, coffee, and raw sugar. But Guatemala shouldn't be a favorite only for those with a sweet tooth or coffee affinity because Guatemalans invented the first ever chocolate bar. Chocoholics, take note. Moving on to El Salvador. The country was named after the Spanish word for the Savior, in honor of Jesus Christ. We think that's awesome. El Salvador's largest exports are knit or crochet clothing and accessories. And a fun fact, El Salvador's national bird is the exotic and colorful torogos. Its name comes from the sound it makes. Next up, Honduras. The literal meaning of the term Honduras is depths in Spanish, and this isn't surprising, as Honduras is a deeply beautiful country. Honduras's largest export is coffee. And a fun fact, Honduras is the only country that touches 4 of Central America's countries, making it everyone's neighbor. Now we drive further south to Nicaragua. Nicaragua's name is derived from the Nicarao, the name of the Nahuatl-speaking tribe which inhabited the shores of Lake Nicaragua before the Spanish conquest. The Spanish added the word for water, agua. Nicaragua's largest exports are knitted or crocheted t-shirts and vests. And a fun fact, in Nicaragua, streets have no names. It's normal for travelers to frequently get lost, so take note as you're traveling about. Here we go now to Costa Rica. The name La Costa Rica means rich coast in Spanish. Costa Rica's largest exports are optical, technical, and medical apparatus. And a fun fact, the sun rises and sets at the same time 365 days a year. And now we finish up in Panama. The name Panama comes from an old indigenous word meaning abundance of fish. Panama's largest exports are therapeutic or prophylactic drugs and medicines. And a fun fact, Panama is the only place in the world where you can see the sunrise on the Pacific and its set on the Atlantic. Gives a new meaning to being in two places at once, right? The last leg of our trip. And what a journey it has been. Together, we have ventured through 14 Latin American countries. And as we embark on this last trek through the remaining 7 countries, it's our hope that our time together has enriched your mind and placed within your heart a deeper appreciation and admiration for our beautiful and exciting Latino culture. Let's get started, finished, shall we? Our first stop, Brazil. Brazil derives its name from the Brazil wood tree. In Portuguese, Brazil wood is called pau-brasil. Brazil's largest export is wheat and corn cereals. That means you have Brazil to thank when enjoying your morning bowl of cereal. And here's a fun fact. Brazil is the only country in South America that speaks Portuguese. Interessante. Interesting. Now let's head to Uruguay. Uruguay is named for a river that forms part of its boundary. From 2 native words in an extinct language, uru, bird, and guay, tail. Uruguay's largest export is oilseeds, machinery, and equipment. And for a fun fact, every single house in Uruguay has its own unique name. Moving on to Argentina. The name is derived from the Latin word for silver, argentum. Argentina's largest export is soybean meal. And Argentina's fun fact, they had 5 presidents in 10 days in 2001. Talk about a power trip, huh? Next on our map is Paraguay, not to be confused with rhyming neighbor Uruguay. According to the Spanish invaders who occupied the country in the mid-1500s, the name is made up of words spoken by the people known as the Guarani. Paraguay exports beverages, spirits, and vinegars. And a fun fact, in Paraguay, eye contact is a must during conversations. And we think it should be a must everywhere, come to think of it. Now we head northwest to Bolivia. Are you getting dizzy yet? Bolivia is named after the independence fighter Simón Bolívar, who fought for independence from Spanish rule in 1825. Bolivia's largest exports are natural gas and silver. And a fun fact, pink dolphins are native to Bolivia. We wonder if Flipper could have had a pink cousin. Let's head to Chile now. And no, we don't mean the tasty soup-like substance. The name Chile comes from the Native American word meaning either ends of the earth or seagulls. Chile's largest export is gems and precious metals. Fun fact, Chile is a world-class wine destination and the 9th largest producer of wine. Don't mind if we do. Last, but certainly not least on the trip is Peru. The name Peru is derived from the Quechua Indian word implying land of abundance, a reference to the economic wealth produced by the rich and highly organized Inca civilization that ruled the region for centuries. Peru's largest export is fish. And a fun fact, 3/4 of the world's alpaca population lives in Peru. Keep this in mind the next time you're looking to buy your grandmother a warm scarf. This concludes our 21-stop world tour through Latin America.